positivity fan here, and I'm done being the negative Nancy. If I wanted to mope around and shit talk others, I would just do that. But that wouldn't make myself happy.
Hey man, you wanna go to the DMV?
Gaming. I've done it since I was but a wee little boy, and my first console was the Wii. I remember playing games like Skylanders Trap Team, Mario Galaxy, and of course the pack-in title, Wii Sports. True story, I once accidentally smacked my mom in the arm so bad while playing Wii Sports Tennis that I actually left a bruise on her. But the game that stuck with me the most from this period was LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. Another one of my most fond memories back in this era was watching my dad play while I was mad sick. I called drinking some lemonade. I guess my stomach wasn't a big fan of that because I puked it everywhere, and that would be the end of my dad's LEGO Star Wars journey. But The Complete Saga, even nowadays, is a great time. Having the prequels and original trilogy adapted into a kid-friendly slapstick LEGO comedy with in-and-out multiplayer was just peak childhood gaming. The stages were also pretty well designed with a good amount of puzzle solving, platforming, and mindless action segments. Sure, LEGO games aren't the most revolutionary shit out there, but they don't have to be. As a 5-year-old, I didn't want to know about family trauma and the cycle of violence. I wanted to know why Chewbacca didn't fuck with the stormtrooper.
The same question Einstein asked when he was trying to figure out the theory of relativity.
These memories makes me say that LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga is one of my favorite video games of all time. Now, is it the best one? Fuck no! I think the divide between the greatest game of all time and your favorite game of all time is one that gets debated a lot. But to me, it's pretty simple. There is no greatest game. A lot of people will argue about objectivity and say that, oh, Red Dead Redemption 2 is objectively better than Gex. And I would agree, but also not really. To me, the game that you personally enjoy more should be the better game in your opinion. Objectivity shouldn't really matter when discussing games because why would I want to hear the general consensus of a game? If I wanted to know, then I would just hit up the Wikipedia review section. When I'm discussing something, I want to hear the personal critique and opinion of a game, not some non-biased bullshit that you're spewing so people don't get mad at you when you're desperately trying to argue that Gex is indeed better than Red Dead Redemption 2. Just say it's better in your opinion and double down because I don't want to hear your fake ass opinion that fucking Gex is balls. You know Gex is good. I want raw honesty. Okay, rant over. Now let me talk about my favorite games of all time.
First up, Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild is a video game. And it's pretty good. The funny thing about Breath of the Wild for me was that I got it almost immediately after getting my Switch for Christmas. And when I first played it, I went full fucking goober mode and couldn't get past the Great Plateau. But eventually I played it again after about a year of thinking it was ass, and that's when it finally clicked for me. And ever since then, I've suffered depression and suicidal thoughts. But I'll tell you what, it wasn't because Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild is one of the only open world games that truly feels open. A massive sandbox with tons of side quests to do, areas to explore, and puzzles to solve, with the world itself having this beautiful atmosphere. The ambient style of music also just makes the game hypnotic in a way, addicting in the best sense it can be. It's an overall excellent game. But actually, it's worse than Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, the debate between Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild is an interesting one. I think Tears of the Kingdom is a better game than Breath of the Wild, or at least it's a more adventurous game than Breath of the Wild. For all the excellent ideas Tears of the Kingdom has, I do have a couple problems with the execution and a lot of the dungeons and technical side of the game. However, it's still incredible, and I think over time, it might overtake Breath of the Wild for me. But because of nostalgia reasons, I think Breath of the Wild is my personal favorite. Overall, Breath of the Wild is an excellent game, but it's not the only Switch game in my top 10. Super Mario Odyssey is my favorite Mario game of all time, and it's not even really a competition. Galaxy was great at the time, but the sheer amount of raging I had while playing it probably gave me a little resentment towards it. And 3D World, I didn't really play that shit. But Mario Odyssey? Well, the game was pure euphoria from the first second I put the cartridge in. The movement was excellent, and being able to transform into a bunch of classic Mario enemies and Goombas was so fun for me as a little boy, and still is as a hormonal teenager. Also, when you get to that post-game and unlock stages like Dark Side and Darker Side, oh, I was fucking turned. Trying to beat Darker Side in general is one of my favorite gaming memories, and doing it with my brother is possibly the most nostalgia-pilled memory in my mind. Maybe besides the next game on my list, Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Pokemon Alpha Sapphire wasn't my first Pokemon game ever. That title goes to Black and White 2. And hell, it wasn't even the first one I owned. That goes to Pokemon X, but it is the one I remember most while playing on those elementary school bus rides and beating the Elite Four over and over and over again. To me, was the most fun thing to do in the entire world. Traveling to another country? Nah, fuck that. I need to sweep the Elite Four with my level 100 Kyogre for the 43rd time. The Hoenn region itself has been ingrained to my mind thanks to this game. And the post-game here, Episode Delta, was really cool to discover as a kid. There's something about post-game content when I was younger that made me feel so special inside. It makes me sad that Pokemon has stopped doing as much post-game content as they used to. I guess it kind of just got replaced with DLC, but I still miss it. My first playthrough, I remember using Mudkip, but that wasn't the playthrough I enjoyed the most. Just like my ball sacks, Alpha Sapphire came in pairs, and the second playthrough is when it permanently entered my favorite games of all time. Trico is the starter I chose, and to this day, Sceptile remains as my favorite Pokemon of all time. No other Pokemon game is in my GOAT list, maybe besides Legends Arceus, but honestly, that's fine.
But from one incredible kids game to another, Red Dead Redemption 2!
Red Dead Redemption 2 is the first game on my list of favorites, not really being affected by any nostalgia. Instead, Red Dead 2 gets on the list by, telling probably my favorite story ever told in gaming, besides Bugsnax. Red Dead 2 is a long-ass game, but one worth experiencing every moment of it. From the first frame, Red Dead 2 makes you feel like a cowboy and also depressed. The world itself is beautifully detailed, with every corner having some sort of polish to it. It truly gets you immersed into it all. The characters all feel so real, more than any other game I have ever played, and I mean it. Every time you go into the camp, the characters always have something new to say, background about their lives or interests. It all just feels so real, like you're talking to just a regular old human on the street, or, you know, one of your classmates, or just you're talking to a human. It's just one of those games that is perfect to play on a stress-free weekend when you have nothing to do. Now, Rockstar has made a lot of other games that I love, but honestly, no GTA game would probably make my favorite games of all time list. No shade towards any of them, they're all great, but just not on my personal favorite list. The closest would probably be GTA 5. GTA 4 is also really, really good, but I just have more experience playing 5, so, you know, call me biased. What does make the personal list is Geometry Dash. If we were to look at all of my favorite games, Geometry Dash is probably the one I spent the most time with. From my beginning days of playing it on mobile right before the 2.1 update release, to me patiently waiting for 2.2 while grinding a bunch of demon levels. It truly tested not only my patience, but also my anger. But whenever I was bored playing all the levels, there was a level creator. The Geometry Dash level creator is incredibly deep and allows for fantastic creativity with your levels. With that being said, it's not the easiest level editor out there to learn. However, enough practice and you eventually can make something somewhat playable. Overall, Geometry Dash gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling whenever I think about it. Good game. Now it's time for my favorite sandbox game, Terraria. Minecraft was pretty close to making on the list, and I also enjoy Astroneer, but Terraria separates itself from the other sandbox games with its progression. If I'm being real, I play Terraria more as an action RPG than a legit sandbox game. That doesn't mean I don't spend time building in it at all, but I'd rather defeat bosses while upgrading my weapons than making my toilet look as good as possible. Terraria is a game with tons of different builds, weapons, and unique bosses that are all fun, not you, and allow for constant replayability. The custom special seeds are also an incredible addition that they added in recent updates. They always have new challenging elements for you to conquer, and they're just really interesting. Oh, and the multiplayer. More people is pretty cool. Terraria, much like the rest of the games on my list, is very fucking good. Enough said. Now, with all this being said, let's acknowledge my favorite cow, Persona 5! Persona 5 is one of my favorite games of all time, and I'm sure it was hard to know that considering it's the game I have talked about the most on this channel. No, but being serious, Persona 5 is a banger, masterpiece, and a game I could discuss for hours. Literally. But I'll keep it brief here. Persona 5 has some of the coolest visuals in any game, a pretty well executed story, fun engaging combat, and a wonderful soundtrack that makes this one of the most impressive games I've ever played.
Now we only have two more games to talk about, and that is Super Smash Bros. Melee and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Both are pretty similar if you couldn't tell by the names.
These games are what I like to call my competitive tickler. Whenever I need to feel like a competitive son of a bitch, I play Ultimate or Melee. These days, I'm more of a Melee player because I like the advanced movement tech a little bit more, and also the lack of Steve. But both games are fantastic. Ultimate has a ton of hidden details, polished gameplay, and it's solid single-player content that lasts you hours. Melee was the true innovator in the series, pushing it forward to how it was meant to be. A fun party game. But yeah, in terms of making me a massive salty bitch, Smash Brothers is probably the biggest reason why.
And those are my favorite games of all time. None of them have any flaws. I'm kidding. Slightly. But all these games get on the list because of, well, many different reasons. Whether that's nostalgia or they're actually just straight up really freaking good games. But I would say these games that I chose here, have probably had the most impact on me in terms of like overall video game taste. And even like taste outside of video games. If it wasn't for Mario Odyssey, I would have never had sex with that hat.